Dating is hard, but there are some tips and tricks that can make the whole thing a little bit easier. If you want to know how to make that special someone fall head over heels, we got you covered. Stay tuned to find out why you should always wear something fluffy when meeting with your crush. You might be surprised as to why this simple trick works. New around here? Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe for more videos like this. Now, on to 10 genius dating tips and tricks. Try new experiences. Dating is an experience in itself. It's scary and it's nerve-wracking. Most people these days have turned to dating apps to help them meet new people. From Tinder to Bumble, it's like a new dating app pops up every day. But chances are when you use these services, you aren't going to find many people who want serious relationships. When you meet a person on an app, you have no idea how they are in person. You have nothing to connect with other than the fact that you both have the same app downloaded on your phones. To ensure that your date goes a bit smoother, try to meet people in another way. Join a recreational sports team. That way you know that you at least have one thing in common. Or you could try joining a club that interests you. By meeting on common ground, you ensure that the two of you have at least one subject to talk about, which will inevitably lead to more lively conversation. Meeting people this way also takes away some of the stress of a first date. You already know the person from your club or sports meetings, so there aren't as many first date jitters as there are when you are meeting a stranger off of an app for the first time. And it is a much better story to tell your kids looking back that you met your husband at a kickball practice rather than by swiping right, isn't it? Hey guys, we are so excited to announce we are producing our own original content. Head over to The Trendy for the best DIYs, fashion tips, makeup hacks, and so much more. We are sure you're going to love it, and be sure to let us know what you think in the comment section. We love to hear from you. See you there. Let your friends set you up. If you've tried going out to bars to meet people, then you know what a battleground that can be. Everyone in the room is looking for someone, but most guys there aren't actually looking for anything serious. And if you do meet someone you like at the bar, you run the risk of having the same problem that you would if you had met them on an app. You don't have anything to talk about. Here's a pro tip to skip some of that awkwardness. Let your friends set you up with someone. Then they have already done all the pre-screening for you. By letting a friend match you with one of their friends, you avoid all the weirdos out there. Your best friend isn't going to send you out on a date with a person that you have nothing in common with, is she? Probably not. So, as far as the compatibility scale is concerned, you are much more likely to mesh than with a stranger that you picked up at a bar or on Tinder. Your friends have your best interest at heart. You go to them for help in picking out outfits, why not dating help too? Just try it once, and we promise this will become your go-to method of dating. Don't ask too many questions. When going on a date with someone, it is important to get to know them. You have to make sure you aren't sitting across the table from a serial killer or a guy who is already in a relationship. Naturally, when we are trying to get to know someone, we ask lots of questions. Well, studies have actually shown that asking too many questions on a first date could actually backfire on you. Researchers at Stanford University wanted to test what made dates go well and what made them tank. So they analyzed almost 1,000 4-minute speed dates. They found out that if you asked too many questions, your date may not like you as much as they normally would. The studies show that the couples who asked more questions during the date felt less connected. According to the author of the study, Dan McFarland, PhD, asking too many factual questions, like where the person is from and what their hobbies are, actually makes people feel detached. Basically, it makes a date feel forced. So, when you want to get to know someone, ask them a few questions and then just sit back and see what happens. Give them a chance to talk before you just go down your list of things you want to ask. We promise the other person will thank you. Don't smoke. When it comes to dating and choosing a mate, smell is of the utmost importance. After all, who wants to be with someone if they have to plug their nose? So if smell is so important, then it pretty much goes without saying that smoking on a date is a no-no. To test this theory out, over 1,000 Match.com members were surveyed. The participants included smokers and non-smokers. 57% of those surveyed said that they would never date a smoker. What's even more surprising is that 60% of smokers even had reservations about dating other smokers. If you are a smoker, then it's probably best to just keep your habit at home and not interrupt your date for a smoke break. Not only is leaving to go smoke quite rude, but it is also apparently a very big turnoff. Even if the other person smokes, they still may not want a partner who does. With that being said, it's probably best if, even just in the beginning of the relationship, you either try to cut down on the smoking or quit altogether. It won't just be good for your dating life, your lungs will also thank you. And all your clothes will smell 10 times better. And like we said, that could just make or break your potential relationship. Don't pretend to be uninterested. Somewhere along the line, people started getting the idea that being uninterested was a good thing. No one wants to seem too excited about anything these days, like it's cool to be nonchalant. But when it comes to dating, playing it cool could actually have adverse effects. According to research published in the Personality and Social Psychology Bulletin, responsiveness and niceness increase how much people are attracted to you. One study tested 112 single college students who were told to discuss a recent negative interaction with a stranger of the opposite sex. They rated that person's responsiveness and attractiveness among other things. The women did not necessarily rate the more responsive guys as more attractive, but for men it was the complete opposite. They were more attracted to women who seemed responsive to them. If you are on a date and would like to go on a second one with that person, it is probably in your best interest to make that clear. Pretending to be uninterested in him will come off as rude and cause him not to invite you out again. After all, who wants to sit through a lunch with someone who isn't paying them any attention or smiling at them? So, when it seems like your date isn't getting the hint that you are interested, you should make it clear and tell them. Tell a vulnerable story. What makes you want to turn a first date into a second or third? The connection that you have with the person, right? Looks can only go so far. Being attracted or attractive to someone is only enough to secure a first date, but from there, your personalities need to match. The best way to get someone to want to see you again is to form some kind of tangible connection with them. Stand out from all the other people that they are seeing by letting them get to see you for who you are. One way to do this is by telling some sort of vulnerable story. Did you go through a hard time that made you grow as a person recently? Maybe tell them about it. Now, you don't want to get too deep and dark. He is still a stranger after all, but letting people in is a great way to build a relationship. You will know that you have done a good job if they share something with you in return. Don't believe that this trick works? Just try it out on your next date. Pick a story that you are comfortable sharing and go for it. We can almost guarantee that this will lead to another meetup. Be touchy. So, we've been talking about connection and how important it is to form one with the person that you want to date. But if you don't feel comfortable sharing your deepest, darkest secrets with them just yet, then rest assured there are other ways to build that intimacy that you want. Psychological studies have shown that being touched by someone will unintentionally increase liking for that person. So, when you are out with them, make sure to touch them whenever possible. For example, if they make a particularly funny joke, reach out and slap their shoulder lightly while you laugh. Or if they are telling a story that you find touching, pat their shoulder or rub their back. Now, of course, you don't want to seem creepy, so you should probably try to gauge the reaction after every touch. Do they seem annoyed that you are touching them? If not, then keep it up. This is a great way to determine if they like you and show interest in them at the same time. It also starts to unconsciously form a bond between the two of you, which is exactly what you wanted all along. Try it out on your next date and let us know how it goes in the comments. Get him to hold coffee. When it comes to wooing the opposite sex, there are a lot of tips and tricks that have been around for decades. Make eye contact, smile at him, etc. But we are about to give you a tip that we can almost guarantee that you have never heard before. If you want a guy to see you as a warm person, get him to hold some hot coffee. Seriously. According to Ruud Kusters, a psychology professor at Utrecht University in the Netherlands, when you get someone to hold coffee or other warm drinks, they will see you as a warm person. The rule also holds true with cold drinks. If the person is holding something cold, they may unconsciously see you as colder. Warmer rooms are likely to have a similar effect. Ruud says that if the environment is hot, the guy is more likely to think that you are hot. Apparently, when we have certain words like hot and warm in our heads, we begin to associate them with the people around us. Meeting up with your crush in a warm coffee shop seems like the best of both worlds. If the guy you like has some personal vendetta against coffee, then just try to steer him away from dates in colder areas and you should still be fine. Wear something smooth or fluffy. So, we have mentioned how important touching is. It creates an unconscious bond between people. But what you might not have heard is how important it is for you to look touchable. A study in the Science Journal found that people respond more to smooth or fluffy things. In the study, participants were asked to put together puzzles with a partner. The participants reported that the process went less smoothly in situations where the puzzle pieces were covered in sandpaper. This phenomenon has to do with word association, again. When you are looking at scratchy or itchy things, because you start to put those feelings onto the person with you. You can apply this knowledge to the dating world by making sure that you don't wear things that look like they would be irritating or unpleasant to touch. Try putting on a fuzzy sweater or a nice silk blouse. Both of those materials feel great against the skin. You can also use this trick to shape your environment. Don't go on a date to places with uncomfortable chairs. Try to go somewhere with nice fluffy couches and a warm, inviting atmosphere. If the person you are dating is going to associate the room with your personality, then you should always pick a room that shows how you want to be reflected. So cozy restaurants are always a good choice. Don't wear too much makeup. Most girls love makeup. There are so many fun products to try out, and new applying techniques are popping up on YouTube every day. How could you not love it? But when it comes to getting the attention of a guy, it might be better to go a little bit lighter on the contour. St. Ives conducted a study of 1,000 women and 550 men to determine if men even like all the makeup that we spend forever doing. The study found that 40% of men think that women wear too much makeup, and 45% of men said that all the makeup that women wear turns them off. The men were also not fans of fake tans. 33% of men claimed that that was a turn-off. In the study, the guys also said that they didn't like red lipstick or fake eyelashes. All of this just goes to show that a lot of males like women to look more natural. The next time you go out with a guy, maybe try skipping the sharp cat eye and the bold lipstick. Opt for a more natural look and see what happens. Not only will you save money on makeup, but you will save time. That's because you won't have to go through a long, arduous makeup routine every time you want to meet up with your guy. It's a win-win. That's it for 10 genius dating tips and tricks. Thanks for watching. For more like this, watch 10 things girls do that turn guys on.